Well, welcome everyone to our podcast on Supplier Diversity News. Today's topic is finding our identity. How many of you ask yourself, what's my purpose in life? How can I discover my true self? Or who am I? Today, we have brought key friends and loyal clients who have once asked those same questions, and they are here to guide you to answer those questions too. I am happy to introduce our special guests of today, Roy and Catherine Binger, business owners of, Binger Financial Services. And our moderator is our president and CEO, Ana Maria Lowry. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you, Damaris. Thank you so much. And what a joy to have with us today two long-time clients for coaching and business development, and even more than that, very close friends of Tony and myself and the whole team. So welcome, Catherine and Roy. Catherine, I know who you are because of our friendship and our long-term relationship. But if I was to ask, knowing that the audience don't know who you are, who would you say Catherine Binger is?
This is not an easy question to answer. Actually, it's pretty difficult. But since going through the identity and destiny program, it's really become a little bit more evident. Part of my identity is to, I'm a survivor. I'm a woman of God. Part of my destiny is, using life's hurts and struggles, as a strength as a way to grow and to strengthen.
Amen. And Catherine, who is that handsome and powerful man besides you?
Well, this is Roy Binger. He's my husband, as well as my partner with Binger Financial Services.
That's awesome, Roy. You are a very powerful gentleman, and that's one thing that I admire on you, your integrity and your well experience in banking, financing, and all of that. Who do you say Roy is?
Well, I've only taken one class, so I can't answer the way Catherine answered, but I like her answer.
Yes.
I would, not having gone through the class or any of the disc profiles that class takes you through to find yourself, I'd have to give a more traditional, answer, which is a young lad at one point from England for 7 years, Jamaica for 3 years, Jamaican parents. So culturally, I have a strong island presence. Within that presence, there was a strong religious component, mostly from the Baptist side. And that was my early years of being introduced to a faith-based family. Combine that with, I said, 35 years in the banking financial services industry. Catherine and I formed the company 6 years ago for insurance and financial services. But who I am at the heart is a husband. I'm a father of two direct girls and three stepdaughters. So female cat, female dog. So I think I've been dominated by females in the house. But all of that makes who I am from a physical perspective. From a spiritual perspective, I would say I'm somebody yearning and trying to get better or more directionally aligned with God. So that's a process.
That is awesome. And thank you for answering that way, because that actually is an answer that most of us will answer at the beginning. We allow our jobs, our white titles, our circumstances to kind of define our identity. Catherine cheated a little because she already finished the class of identity and destiny, and now she has an identity with herself that she is clear that she is the one who changed because of her identity, the circumstances, and who bring the value to whatever she touched. So Why do you think the answer to this question bring you both to join Identity and Destiny courses? Why do you think, Catherine, knowing the identity of as a woman, knowing yourself, especially knowing that we are kind of octopus, we always feel pulled by so many different arms. The woman of the household, the professional, the friend, the daughter, the mom. So why were you interested in joining the class of Identity and Destiny?
Well, it was really to try and figure out how to balance it and bring it all together, bringing it forward and being who we are, finding out who we are, and it's not only in our family, it's with our business, it's really trying to figure out who I was and where do I fit.
And that is so significant because while we do deals, we are understanding how did the Lord created us from the beginning. Since we were in our mom's wombs, He gave us a specific design. So how many more Catherines is there? None.
That's true. It's just me.
Catherine is very unique. And probably God said, I only can handle one Catherine. And that's what probably Roy will say as well. I only can handle one Catherine, and I only blessed with one Catherine. So, Roy, I know that the changes that you have seen in your wife and a little of an invitation from my husband encouraged you to take the class. I know you are part of the pioneers of the main group for Identity and Destiny, which is so powerful because this is a global approach. So welcome to be the pioneer. And what are you looking forward to discover in this class, Roy?
I think to the person, the men in the group were all apprehensive, when we started off the class, because just typically you have to expose yourself, or you have to be a little bit more. You're in a position you're not used to being, which is sharing how you feel, and I mentioned my island upbringing before, and it's you're taught to hide those emotions and certainly not express it in a group.
Correct.
So it would not. It's not something that I would have done. And so, Catherine and I, we made a commitment to each other, and along that journey, we decided that initially we were going to go through the book How to Understand the Bible for Men, and she was going to go through the book How to Understand the Bible for Women, because we do think differently, compare notes and start that journey. And interestingly, we haven't done it. The book's there, it's in the cover, it's in the packet, and sometimes you need an impetus or something to spur you along, and then this class came along, and usually I would be the one starting the class first, but Catherine went, and I saw the change in her, the camaraderie with the other women that were on the call, and I kind of overheard some things, but I wasn't allowed to stay in the room. But I got jealous. I was like, hey, I'm excluded.
Yeah.
So when Tony mentioned and Samuel that they were starting a men's group, I mean, she looked at me and she didn't have to say anything. I knew how to take the class. On a side note, one of the things that struck me as odd and pertinent to the class for those that are listening is, Jesus got 12 disciples together and, and had fellowship and then was able to teach them things and they could apostolate. So it shouldn't have been foreign for me to join a group of men to talk about something faith-based and how to find yourself. But that analogy kind of stuck with me, so I'm glad I'm starting that journey.
I only have one correction, Roy. You said you had the island presence. I would change it. You had the island flavor. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. That curry chicken that you made, that curry flavor is something that is incredible. Now, how important finding your own identity is in a professional level? Uh, because we are in a business world that is
Yeah.
kind of very dark, demanding, uh, really there is not too much integrity. So how important is for the two of you to have found that identity and be able to bring it into the professional world?
Well, I think if professionals and entrepreneurs, really anyone, would come to find their identity and destiny, they would clearly see the roadmap that is set before them. It would help you with your elevator speech in a little different, I don't know, flavor, a different, just the way you talk about it, and you talk about you and what you're doing, and how, having faith is the most important part of it.
Awesome, awesome. Roy, what about you?
It gives clarity. I think one of the things that the class, and I don't want to say class, but the sessions help you with, because class denotes studying, and it's really an awareness type of a program. But I think it allows you to be more honest with the person you're talking to, because you believe in what you're doing. You're very ethical in what you're doing. But I think before this, it was more trying to sell them something.
Mm-hmm.
You were approaching it from, I'm going to talk to this person, and I got to tell them what I'm doing in the business, and you didn't really talk about yourself that much.
Mm-hmm.
We were at an event yesterday, kind of we have our shots, but it was face to face, finally, with some people, and I was talking to a couple, and I really, typically with a room like that, I would spend 4 minutes tops with them and figure out whether or not I need to do any business with them, and give them my business card and move on. And 20, 30 minutes later, I'm talking to this couple that's out their own business, and they asked me about our business and the model, and I talked about it. We choose to do business with people that are faith-based. That's not something I would normally say in the first date, and we dialogue, but I enjoyed it so much better. And I know I can follow up with them, and I think it'll be a better relationship if we decide to do business together. So I think for me personally, it's helped me dial back the rhetoric around instant gratification as far as a product or a sale or what we do for a living, to building a deeper relationship with the client, to figure out whether or not you should do business. Kind of the way you and I, Anna Maria, work together.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Catherine and Roy. This is huge because we have been talking more about the identity, but once you found your identity, you understand clearly your purpose. So for me, for example, when I understood my identity as an agent, follower of Christ, to be in the marketplace, to transform not only the business of our clients, but their own life, was very purpose for us to continue being with a very intentional way of doing it. And I think that for both of you, what I have seen is you had changed, as you were saying, Catherine and Roy, just from the business perspective, is one more client. Now you have a purpose that be intentionally also impacting their people's lives. So that is such a beautiful impact. Now, how do you think identity and destiny, the class, will help our audience, those who are listening today, because the majority of our audience is coming from the supplier diversity, the diversity, identity, and diversity world, which is very significant in today's because we talk about diversity, equity, inclusion, and we are so blessed to see your couple, even just as an example of two men and women so powerful but so diverse, not only in your roots where you were born, but also in your character. So, how significant is that in your diversity, and how, in the business of diversity and equity and inclusion, this class has helped you?
Well, this course really takes us through three parts. First, it's to better understand ourselves. Second is to cross over a bridge to the third segment, and how are we wired emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. And then when you put it all together, we discover who we are.
Amen. And is that something that will be different from the perspective of diversity? Because we all, no matter how diverse we all have our own identity, because we all are unique, and we all were created in a unique way from the Lord. So I remember, Roy, even when you were getting your certification as a minority business, there were challenges there because there was no clarity. What is your identity? Some were saying, no, you are from England, that's where you were born. No, you don't have the flavor of the Jamaican roots. And then we have to include all of that and support to finally getting your certification. So how important is for you to know your identity, even in this diversity business?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting question, because that diversity to me may mean something different to somebody else. And you're right. I thought I was African American when we were trying to do our designation, and when we pulled the birth certificate, it showed England. And England, for those of you listening, is not from any of the African countries that the National Diversity Supplier Program recognizes as being developing.
Correct.
So I said, hey, my parents are Jamaican, and I had to show my Jamaican roots there, but still, I wasn't born in Jamaica, so I didn't qualify, and so we had to kind of get up. But diversity there really meant race and location of where you were born. I think that you can get, or I can speak for myself, I shouldn't say on average, but you get hung up on the race part or the sex part, or you're female. It is a designation for potential jobs on contracts. That's a niche business or niche business that you should consider to go vertical. But you don't want to be trapped in it as well. And so I think the class helps. It'll help me and particularly Catherine just have a different language around it. So prior to this podcast or Catherine taking the class, I would never even call her a mosaic. It wouldn't even what's a mosaic, but understanding her mosaic or how she communicates, if she's a C or I or a D, these are things that they'll go through the class with, but it's not something you normally would use. But all of that is added to her diversity. I mean, she is a Caucasian female, but she's a C. She's got a mosaic. She's got a purpose, and I think it forces us. The class forces us to first really look at the person.
Amen.
And not just say, hey, they're Hispanic or they're African American or they're disabled or they're vet. Just deal with a person that happens to be a woman-owned company, and I think it's going to help us, align with better customers, because not all customers are good customers.
Correct.
And so sometimes I think if you were to just utilize your designation status to grow your business, that wouldn't be the best model. I think this type of a model, knowing yourself, who you want to attract and work with, if they happen to be, a government agency, great. If they're the airport, that's super. But if it's, a customer that's 5 miles from us that we've never met, that's awesome too.
Yeah. And that's something that I treasure on this curriculum, is because it helps us to identify that each one of us have a unique value and that we all are equal in the eyes of God. Those titles that the society stick on us, even from childhood. I share with Catherine in the woman class, I grew up believing that I was an ugly girl because my sister Patricia was, wow, she was gorgeous, so beautiful, and she will arrive to a party and she will bring the party up. So the society in Colombia started calling her Patricia the beautiful and the nice, and Ana Maria the intelligent. So I grew up thinking I am not pretty at all. I'm probably the ugly dog of my family. And it was until I understood, God created me in his image, and I cannot go and look to God and say, you are an ugly God, because he is a beautiful identity. And that's what we are going to learn, how to appreciate everyone for who they are, because God created them. We don't call our disabled group disability group. We call them a powerful group with diverse abilities. And that's what we want to empower everyone here, to take advantage of our uniqueness, our diversity, with confidence in who we are and projecting a purpose that it has an internal impact. Thank you so much to both of you. We are honored to have you as dear friends, as dear clients, and as party partners.
Thank you.
Very much. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
we are currently having 4 classes. Damaris, I don't know if you're going to invite the audience to join our classes and tell us more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. We can. I'm gonna send out here in our chat where they can register for our classes. They are from 9 a.m. every Tuesday and Wednesday. We offer both classes in English and Spanish. It's a 1 hour and a half. So I will send the link here for all who it's interested. So you all heard it. Let's stop wasting time in life and figure it out what we're meant to do and who we really are. Thank you to our audience. Thank you, Catherine and Binger and Ana Maria. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.